My name's Lorraine, and I'm a member of the Bangor Worldwide Committee. And the area of responsibility, if you want to call it, that I have is a global village. So it's a real privilege tonight to be here, to be interviewing one of our reps, our mission reps. So I'm going to start off with a really easy question for him. Who are you?
Okay, Lorraine, I'm Stevie. I work alongside Bible Education Services. We provide basically Bible lessons right across the world to different partners who will use them in churches and lots of different places.
Okay. And can you tell us how BES, we'll call it Bible Education Services, began?
Yeah, quite an exciting story as to how God can use ordinary individuals, can place a burden in someone's heart, and to see what can come as a result of someone following what God prompts them to do. This couple behind us here, you'll see, are Bert and Wendy Gray. They were involved in church planting in the south of Ireland. And they were downright in the very bottom corner of Ireland when God was prompting them again to move on. And Wendy had a concern for one little girl. One little girl who she was concerned about who would teach her the Bible. And so as they moved on, every month Wendy would sit down and write a letter to this little girl. And in this letter that she would write to this little girl, she put a little Bible story. And she included different questions that the child would look up and try and get an answer to. And that was the start of the first really Bible time lesson. You'll see some of the different iterations of the designs over the years, but this really is what birthed what we now have today as Bible time.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about Bible time, what it actually is?
Yes, so it's a bit of a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 here. So we've got 5 different ability levels of Bible lessons. Right from the age of 3, a child can enter into the beginning of her syllabus and continue to study right through until the age of 18. We've also got here in the UK, it's printed in an A4 format, which means a child can do a lesson 1 per week. So there'll be 4 lessons in each of those little booklets. And at each of those 5 levels I was telling you, there are 3 years worth of material. So it's like a bit of a cyclical syllabus where you revisit the major Bible stories. With different booklet options, depending on what part of the world you're in. We are so blessed to have a partnership with Revival Movement, and they print the little smaller version, just a little bit smaller than an A5, and they tend to be used in great numbers right across the world in different places. In a nutshell, Bible time is 1 lesson per week for children, right from the age of 3 until the age of 18. This is a little picture of the syllabus that we have, and it covers, as you can see, the major Bible stories. The major Bible stories are covered in those times. Some stats-wise, and this is the bit I suppose that amazes us, how God continues to grow the resources. Currently, that material is available in 45 different languages. Some of that is partway through translation. In others, the whole series, the whole syllabus has been translated. It's currently being used in over 80 different countries across the world that we know of. And it's all free to download. So it's interesting sometimes when we sit down and look at the data that comes back from the website to see some little corners of the world where it's being downloaded and people are printing it locally themselves, perhaps in small numbers for groups of children and young people. So it's grown a long way from back in 1958 when it was 1 lesson being used by 1 children, where today it literally is millions of children each week are coming and using Bible time to be taught the Word of God. Revival Movement have printed for us over 10 million booklets, and those have gone out right across the world, and that's since 2014. Here at home in Northern Ireland, in schools, the resource is used in many different primary schools. There are 36,000 children that are using these materials across Ireland, so pray for that work because it's an incredible open door of opportunity at this time.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask. Where is it being used?
So let me tell you about some of the different places in the world it's used. Because it's a very flexible resource, it can be taken up and used in different ways. So churches use it perhaps for Sunday schools. Schools will use it for RE lessons. There's a lovely story from the States of one grandparent who uses it with a grandchild who lives many, many hours away across it in a different state. Her child, the grandparent's child, no longer walks with Jesus, but she still is able to spend time with her own grandchildren and be able to use our resources over Zoom with her grandchild to teach her from the Word of God. I just think that's a beautiful little story as to how that resource is being used by someone who has a real burden for their own family. And it's also, believe it or not, used in prisons across the world for those who perhaps have a poor level of education. We have partners who take that resource and use it with those who are prisoners as well. Here's some little snapshots from across the world. Interesting story here from Russia. So in Russia, it is used in quite a difficult to reach place. We have a guy there who was in prison for a long time. He had been studying these courses by correspondence. They'd been being sent to him. He was completing them. He got saved. He trusted Jesus. And he then had a burden that others too would get to hear. And so he began to travel back to the same region that he was originally from and bringing back those booklets to use with the children and young people in that area. Where it's lovely to hear stories still of the materials being used in Ukraine, of places where it's very, very difficult at the present time, but places even where they're using a shipping container that's been covered up and children each week are gathered together and are using Bible time to study the Word of God. A number of years ago, I had the real joy of visiting Brazil, to be able to be along that Amazon River, to be able to go up those small little rivers that are off the main Amazon, and to go into some of those schools and to see hundreds of children who are using Bible time on a weekly basis. Truly, truly wonderful. Tanzania, we have a lovely partnership with World Vision. Every child that's involved in the World Vision programs in Tanzania also uses Bible time. And a number of years ago, we went out and we followed out the resource to see how it was being used. They had an aim of reaching 1 million children by the end of their 5th year. We were amazed that within 18 months, they were already reaching 1 million children. So at the moment in Tanzania, 1 million children are using Bible time every single month. And that's all printed by Revival Movement outside Moira and shipped out to Brazil. Incredible to see how that's being used. Moldova, it's lovely to see how it's being used there among humanitarian work that's being done, where children are being gathered together while their parents are being worked with and they're being taught from the Word of God. It's been lovely for us to have a visitor with us at the moment, and this is where I suppose in a moment or two we're going to have Sari come up and share with us, and he's going to share a little bit more detail about exactly how they use the material in another region of the world.
So how do you train your partners, train and encourage them?
So yeah, when you're sending out vast quantities of literature and booklets and teacher guideline booklets, you want to make sure it's being used well. So one of the things that we have prioritized is how we train and equip those who use our materials. So we do that in different ways. We will do Zoom calls at times with different partners. One of our newer partners in Mongolia, we have been working with, and it was lovely because it was something I'd never experienced before. We'd bought our Zoom license that allowed us to get 100 people on a Zoom call, and we thought that'll be plenty. And actually, when we started this partnership with the guys in Mongolia, very quickly we ended up finding out that was not enough. And so that's been a real learning opportunity, and we hope to be able to go and visit them within the next 12 to 24 months to actually see that material on the ground being used. So that's one way we train, but we've built what's called a learning management system where we have lots of little training videos that people can log in and watch. So little videos to be watched, different activities to complete, and it can be actually downloaded onto your phone. So depending on what part of the world you're in, you're able to download it onto your phone, and perhaps you're traveling into college every day. Well, you can stick your headphones in and you can listen to the training video and complete the different activities on the way. And here's some pictures recently that we were out in France completing some videos for French-speaking Africa. And these will be, hopefully over the next month or two, produced, and that will really enable our partners there to be trained and equipped right across French-speaking Africa. Those materials continue to be developed. You can see where we are. The 6 large circles are the countries, if you like, that we have the training material ready in. The next 6 are the ongoing projects at the moment. So please pray for that, particularly for the some of the more challenging languages. When you're sitting here in Belfast and you're cutting and pasting Arabic, you're not quite sure really what you're doing, and that's where you're glad to have others who can come along and say, you've made a wee mistake there. If you would like to be kept up to date with what we are receiving from our partners, because we have the joy, I suppose, of getting those little emails where you get those little stories like those children who are completing the Bible time lessons under the street lamps. Those are the stories that we get on an ongoing basis. And so we like to be able to share that with folks, and also even the developments as well. And if you'd like to be kept up to date, come and see us this week over at the Global Village. And we'll be glad to add you to our mailing list and happy to send you out our little emails to keep you up to date about what God is doing through Bible time across the world.
Thank you so much. Thank you.